Good. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. How are you? Yes. You know what? I didn't know you were going to do it. I'm probably going to do it. That's okay.
I gotta stand here and be nervous.
It is. Well, we're 1 minute away. Maybe even less than It doesn't say here, but usually it's 5 or 6
Call this meeting to order. We'll rise and give the Pledge of Allegiance and the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Julie, would you please give the prayer?
Yes. Okay. Tonight we weep for Ukraine. We weep for those uprooted from their homes and lives. We weep for those cowering in their basements. We weep for those who have witnessed death and destruction in their streets. We weep for those separated from parents, from children, from spouses and siblings. We are amazed at the resilience of people seeking to comfort those in need. And so we pray for governments opening up borders so that Ukrainians can have safe passage. We pray for churches and individuals providing food, clothing, and shelter. We pray for medical workers, ensuring that shattered bodies are put back together again. We pray for ordinary Russians demonstrating and voicing their disapproval of military action in Ukraine. May the Holy Spirit give us the willpower to turn our tears into actions. Also, may we, through our words, prayers, and actions, be an example to pursue the things that bring peace in the world today. Amen.
Amen.
Jessica, would you please take roll call?
Katie Barr. Here. Barbara Bennett. Here. Mark Bennett.
Here.
Teresa Bain. Here. Brian Kaufman.
Here.
Dennis Durnovich.
Here.
Jesse Durbin.
Here.
Julie Edwards.
Here.
Gary Gergany.
Here.
Rod Height.
Here.
Matt Kessler.
Here.
Larry Lenz.
Yes.
Sharon Ongman.
Here.
Robert Orman.
Here.
Gary Patterson.
Here.
Derek Piercy.
Here.
Robert Simpson.
Here.
Jeff Slifer.
Here.
David Switz. Don Tate.
Here.
Lynn Williams.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Approval of last month's minutes. Any additions, corrections, or changes anybody have with those? I have a motion to approve them. Gary, second. Sharon did back there. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay. So we'll move on to public body comment. The only thing I ask is give your name and, yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Kirk Allen. I've just got a few points to go through on this. I don't think I'll use up my 5 minutes. Has the board made some determination what laws they'll follow and what laws they will ignore? I ask because you vote for things with no appropriations in the budget for some items, but not others. Why is it okay to amend the budget for the FOP pay increase outlined in the MOU, but ASME Union has to wait until new budget in September? I'm shocked there's not been a grievance filed for that differential treatment. Next topic. Today was a subject matter hearing for the Farm Bill prepared by, I believe, your state's attorney. While there was some misinformation presented, I do appreciate the acknowledgement it was not 40-plus counties farming the ground legally, but a smaller number because of several of them are in fact doing it illegally, which was not initially disclosed to this board. That brings me to the red herring about law school and being an attorney or not being an attorney. Never forget, in every court hearing where there is a lawyer on both sides, half of them are losers. It's all about framing an argument. Today, the lawyering failed to present the whole truth of the matter, but rather only information to support an objective. That is not what legislative debate is about. I do appreciate the acknowledgement of the constitutional concerns that we have raised for over 2 years. My question that I think needs to be posed to the Attorney General before we go changing laws: does leasing county-owned property to a private farmer to use the property for a private farming operation meet the required threshold of proper use of public property to meet that public purpose prong as intended with our state constitution, the annotated constitution, and case law in this matter? I encourage the board to ask that question be presented to the Attorney General. As far as that bill goes, there was no vote today in committee, and only time will tell as to what games might get played. The county board adopted 2 specific policies I would like to address. There's probably more, but the 2 I want to address is what I'm speaking to. The first one is a county payroll policy. The second one is a public comment policy. Can anyone on this board explain to the public why you only enforce the public comment policy? It's a simple question. I don't expect an answer now, but we see it enforced, but we don't see your payroll policy enforced. For those wondering, we have confirmed in one of our lawsuits against the state police, the criminal investigation regarding payroll in Shelby County is in fact an active criminal investigation with the ISP and the Attorney General's office. We know it has been going on for over a year, and I suspect it's safe to assume at this point they've identified some serious problems, which most in this room have ignored even after being informed of the fraud. Yes, I consider it fraud to pay people for 40 hours when they're only working 30. If the delay in the forensic audit is due to the ongoing criminal investigation or the presentation of that audit, I think you should at least confirm that to the public. Tell them why it's not being presented. If you can't do that, disclose the audit results to the public. They're the ones who paid for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I reserve the rest of my time. Thank you.
I've got it written down how much you have left, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other public body comment? Yes. Please state your name.
I am Lisa Sweeney. I'm ASME president, and I've been employed at the County Clerk and Recorder's Office 15 years. The American Rescue Plan Act was to aid those facing unprecedented strain in the wake of the COVID crisis. Essential workers can receive premium pay increases, and all members of FOP also received a hazardous duty bonus. We understand the FOP MOU was pushed through rapidly because of a deputy shortage. But all members of FOP, including dispatchers, jailers, secretaries, and janitors, received an hourly wage increase plus a lump sum payment. The county also agreed to eliminate the employee contribution of $53 per pay for health insurance, providing participation in the wellness program. We made the county aware in August we want to bargain for ARPA funds. We've been proposing dates since December, only to have a tentative date scheduled for March 15th. We were recently told that funds would not be available until next budget cycle beginning September 1. Members of ASME are here tonight to ask why we are not extended the same respect and consideration as FOP members. It would have been easy to write a negative speech detailing how ASME members have felt unappreciated, dejected, and how we are not worthy of essential worker premium pay increases. However, I believe there's enough negativity in this room and throughout the county. So I'm going to tell you some of the positive things that we do for you and all of Shelby County. Our animal control warden has been here since 2011. He contracts with all municipalities within the county except 2, but will assist them as emergencies arise. He maintains a clean and healthy environment for our lost and homeless animals. Shelby County has a very low euthanasia count. He enters properties unaware of what he might encounter. In fact, he enters a lot of the same properties as our deputies. But the main difference is he goes in alone and does not have a weapon on his body for protection. He also has asked for ARPA fund assistance to purchase a bulletproof vest, but has yet to receive response on that either. Why shouldn't he receive the same hazardous duty bonus received by FOP members? Next is our highway laborers. One of our laborers has served Shelby County for almost 40 years. Think about all he has done to improve this county in that period of time, since 1982. Our laborers keep our county roads safe for travel. Last month, when the courthouse was closed during inclement winter weather, they were out there working tirelessly clearing county roads. If it wasn't for our laborers, how would the deputies, rescue squad, and ambulances get to the emergencies during storms? Every day, they work with heavy, dangerous equipment and vehicles. They save the county money by performing their own maintenance on equipment. Some laborers are required to obtain a semi-truck license, attend and pass chemical spray classes, and all must take flagging courses. They're working along our county roads as drivers speed by. We all know how deadly this can be. And yet again, we ask, why are they not deserving of a hazardous duty bonus? What office faced an unprecedented strain in the wake of COVID more than our health department? Those members are the definition of an essential employee. Their workloads increased tremendously the last 2 years. They had to learn new functions, create new positions like contact tracer, and adapt quickly to continuously changing CDC guidelines and state orders, all while keeping the county safe and healthy. One of our members has worked over 20 years, and part of her job is to inspect restaurants. During the pandemic, she handled complaints and gave guidance regarding guidelines at restaurants and schools. She also conducts septic inspections and investigates properties when the health department is called because of outdoor neglect, trash, and waste issues. She puts herself on the line to diffuse tense situations when a landowner is upset that the county has been called to their property. If this was your daughter, your wife, your granddaughter, would you then think she deserved a hazardous duty bonus? Our members in the assessor's office are required to have certain qualifications. They first must achieve becoming a certified Illinois assessing officer, which is a 4-year process. Both of our union members received their CIAO in 1 year. Then, all active certified assessing officers must complete 60 hours of continuing education for another 4-year cycle and are required to pass examinations. This office completes assessments, keeps property ownership updated, and assists homeowners to apply for property tax exemptions, which provide savings to property owners. Without this office, all the taxing districts, including this county and our schools, would not receive their funding in a timely manner. Thank you. And
Good job, Lisa.
now Liz Reagan.
Liz? Go ahead.
My name is Elizabeth Reagan, and I've been working in the county clerk and recorder's office since 2015. In the circuit clerk's office, they assist people currently in bad situations, whether it be a divorce, paying fines, or attending court. Therefore, people are not happy having to conduct business in that office. Because they lack full-time security, they must attempt to manage unruly and disruptive customers until a security guard can arrive. They have unknowingly and unlawfully been recorded both in person and over the telephone. Because of these issues, safety is a major concern for them. During the pandemic, they had to adjust their whole routine and learn new technology to hold court via Zoom. COVID impacted the county clerk and recorder's office during the last 3 elections. Many laws were changed, election judges were not as willing or able to work, and the amount of those voting early by mail and curbside increased dramatically. The November 2020 election was one for the record books. Over 1/3 of the registered voters either voted in the office or by mail. That's over 5,000 voters. We were in continuous contact with voters that either tested positive or were under quarantine and could not go to the polling place on election day, which required them to vote by mail or curbside vote. We work diligently to keep Shelby County election judges and voters safe while completing our daily recording and vital record keeping. Shelby County benefits from having a bookkeeper in the treasurer's office with almost 30 years of experience. She manages 57 funds and 83 bank accounts. She's our second longest employee in the county. Our last contract had a 25-year cap on longevity. Because of this cap, both she and our other member with almost 40 years of experience missed a longevity increase. During negotiations in August, we tried to bargain that increase for them and were denied. We then asked if they could receive a $500 base salary increase, but this too was rejected. It's ironic that our two members with almost 70 years of experience can't receive $1,000, but 4 FOP members leaving the county can receive a total of $14,000 under the retention bonus after ending their employment from the county. I believe we have demonstrated that our work is both essential and hazardous. Working at the courthouse, we have been verbally threatened, had a bomb threat in 2008, screamed and cursed at. But the most disrespect that we have felt has been by you, the board. We hear you say the county needs to show loyalty to employees, especially at a time when retention and recruiting is tough, and that the job market is for the person willing to work. Too bad there isn't enough of that today. You tell us our wages are already premium, and we are lucky to work for the county. I think it's the county that is lucky to have us working here. Shelby County has 20 members of AFSCME with over 237 years of experience. We have demonstrated that we are dedicated, loyal, and willing to work. Employee morale is at an all-time low. If you want to improve morale, show us some respect. Reward our loyalty and dedication by negotiating with us for the same increases that other Shelby County employees received. Thank you.
Any other public body comment? Yes.
Martha Fernhaber. During the public body comment portion of the February County Board meeting, Ms. Garman of the County State's Attorney's Office addressed the citizens that were present as a part of that public body. I thought public body comment was an opportunity for the public body to address the board, not a time for the public body to address each other. That said, Ms. Garman made a couple of statements that raised some concerns. Given it appeared that Ms. Garman was speaking on behalf of the State's Attorney's Office, I thought maybe we could get some clarification during tonight's meeting. First, Ms. Garman said, and I quote, "Sir, about the Paylocity thing, she answered the questions that were given to her by the board. She was asked, can we legally do this? She answered it." End of quote. That is factually inaccurate. Later in the same meeting, board member Julie Edwards asked the state's attorney directly if the written legal opinion regarding Paylocity had been provided, as she had not yet seen it. The state's attorney's response was that she had not, as she was waiting for the forensic payroll audit of the sheriff's department to be completed before doing so. This leads to two questions that could possibly be answered during the meeting tonight. Do the state statutes that govern the legality of any county in the state outsourcing payroll already exist, or will they be written or amended based on the forensic audit findings? If the statutes already exist, is there a reason that the written legal opinion cannot be provided to this board prior to the audit findings? The second concerning comment Ms. Garman made was, and I quote, "Does anybody not care about the crime? Because that's why Nicole was elected, to be here to help with the crime and make a difference. And we cannot even get to that part of our job because, because someone added wrong on their timesheet." End of quote. It is very concerning that an employee of the state's attorney's office would portray such a cavalier attitude towards the importance of accurate timekeeping for county employees. When timesheets are not accurate, one of two parties are cheated. The employee gets cheated out of what is rightfully due to them, or the taxpayers of the county are cheated due to the overpayment. Neither one should be acceptable to anybody of the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public body comment? Yes, sir.
John Kraft, I have a real quick one. Did everybody watch the video of the hearing today in Springfield? Because if not, you should watch it. One comment I appreciate the state's attorney mentioning was she read from the property tax code that states leaseholders are responsible for payment of the real estate taxes of property that they're leasing that is exempt or was exempt. Leaseholders, not the county board like you did a few months ago. That's all I have. Thanks.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, Nicole Cronke, Shelby County State's Attorney. I want to say in defense of Kayla Garman that I'm very fortunate to have her in my office. She is a certified paralegal with a college degree. She previously supervised 14 administrative assistants as personnel director at the Macon County State's Attorney's Office. She's an experienced, intelligent, dedicated, hardworking victim witness coordinator, and she's an essential part of the State's Attorney's Office. And she also happens to be a wonderful person. When she spoke at the last meeting, she did not read from a prepared statement that someone else wrote for her or that she wrote for herself. She didn't read from a cell phone. She did not read from an iPad. She didn't plan to speak. She spontaneously spoke from the heart in defense of our office, exercising her First Amendment right. And since that time, she's been publicly attacked, and many of us saw that coming. I saw it coming as she was speaking, and I can bet that she did too. Yet she spoke anyway, and I admire her for her courage. She did not state an inaccuracy with respect to Paylocity. She stated that I had given my opinion, and I have given my opinion verbally, that it is legal to go to Paylocity to help us with the payroll situation. I'm going to follow up that verbal opinion with a written opinion once the audit is finished, as I said last month. So she did not say anything inaccurate. She's not lying to anyone when she talks in public. I'm proud to call her my coworker. I'm proud to call her my friend. I'm so happy she's here. I hope that she stays because we're losing a lot of employees in this county, throughout the county, because it's been a toxic environment, and it's very sad for this community. And to Mr. Kraft, the real estate tax statement that I made today, yes, the law is that the leaseholder is responsible. However, when the leases were written in Shelby County, before I was state's attorney, they weren't written correctly. The leases did not say that the lessee was responsible for the payment of the taxes. That was the problem. It was not written correctly. If it had been, the law would back up the county and the lessee would have to pay the taxes. Limited time today and didn't go into all those details, but the statement I made about the real estate taxes was not inaccurate. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other public body comment?
Jeff Slifer. I went to Greenbelt Energy Express meeting last night. Has the county received any kind of word at all what kind of a tax deal they're going to receive off these lines? Because it was reported like $7,000 a mile, and that was first my knowledge of it. Who would know? I mean, if we haven't been approached, we haven't been approached. I understand that.
That would probably be an assessor question. I can't answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've not. The only thing I've gotten are the notices of the public hearing.
I kind of wondered that last night when they were saying that it might have been a little far-fetched.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public body comment? Yes, sir.
Kevin McKittrick, I want to pick up here real quick where I left off last month to run out of time. Do a quick review. Most of my comments were directed toward the county's attorney, Nicole. I spoke a little bit about an attorney's code of ethics, attorney misconduct, with numerous things in there that she has engaged in. And then I finished with how she's taken many positions on certain matters, specifically the outsourcing of payroll. She's kind of become a proponent, an advocate. She's taken a position, and it's created this bias. And tonight I'd like to speak just briefly a little bit about maybe why this is, because it is very disturbing. I think, Nicole, that you and some of these board members, and it's obvious to me, you have this agenda. And I think within that agenda, there's a vendetta, maybe more. And I think that possibly individuals from the public body, possibly board members, and without question, some county officers. And like I said, very disturbing. And when you take a position, which I don't know how you can do this, I think you've got to be neutral. You've got to sit up there just like a judge would at a trial. He reads the law and interprets the law, and then he turns it to the attorneys, and they make their arguments. I think that's why we have what we call, blind justice. And so when you assert your personal opinions into this board, you're kind of, then you need to be a board member, not legal counsel. Some of your comments and opinions I mentioned last month are so vague. There's so many things that just aren't so. I don't know how you can do the job that you're required to do, and be fair and impartial when you have a position in the matters, okay? Heck, you're in court all week, prosecute people that break the law, and then you come in here and advise this board on matters that if they was to take your advice and follow it, they would be breaking the law. Pretty strange. But in a little summary here, as I said last month, you're addressing this board in matters of law for the sole purpose that they would act in accordance with that law. Well, you must act in accordance with that law. And you must provide accurate statements and comments, not what fits your personal agenda. But in summary here, it boils down to this, in my opinion. You have usurped this board's authority. You have misled this board and manipulated this board. And that, Nicole, is well beyond the scope and purview of your duties as legal counsel to the Shelby County Board. And it needs to stop. I think sometimes as a litigator, you are the county prosecutor, but I think sometimes when you come into these meetings that maybe you better leave a few of your litigation skills at the door, because some of the matters before this board, they come here and try to make arguments to convince the board maybe, or inform the board and give them the green light to act accordingly. And me personally, and then your assistant, Kayla, talks about like we shouldn't even be allowed to have offer a legal opinion. We should become a lawyer. Well, she's wrong. There's thousands of people in this country represent themselves in court every day of the week. And you can provide a legal opinion, especially those based on case law, So, with that said, but to me, all that's stupid stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were talked to about adding on timesheets last month. For the pay week of April 12 through April 16 last year, an employee in the state's attorney's office miscalculated her timesheet 3 times in 5 days. All the errors were in the employee's favor. They were all overages to the employee, and that would have caused undue burden on the taxpayer. The state's attorney signed off on that timesheet, despite it containing multiple errors. All the errors were above the 40-hour mark, which means the taxpayer would have been unfairly treated at time and a half. It's my understanding that the Treasurer's Office discovered and fixed the errors and paid the employee appropriately, so everyone was treated fairly in the end. The employee in question is the same young lady who spoke up at the February meeting, Ms. Garman. I guess correctly filling out a timesheet is stupid stuff. She stated that in over a year nothing has been accomplished, and she was right. Nothing's been done to fix the issues plaguing the county. But my question is, whose job is it to, quote, fix the county, end quote? It's not the state's attorney's job, it's the board's job, and ultimately it's the people's job. What's more is that employee turned in an incomplete and inaccurate timesheet for the day of that meeting last month. Her timesheet indicated that she was to be paid to come and speak in an open meeting. That's not her job, and she shouldn't be paid for that. Again, the treasurer's office identified the error, and it was fixed, and everyone was treated correctly in the end. How ironic is it that she stated in her comment that someone in the state's attorney's office can't add, and she continued an already existing problem of misrepresenting her hours worked. Again, the state's attorney signed that timesheet and sent it on through. In December, Assistant State's Attorney Jay Scott was asked a legal budgetary question, and he responded with some stupid stuff. One, he said it was above his pay grade. Well, if it's above his pay grade, whose pay grade does it fall under? That he also said that instead of asking him, Mr. Scott, the board should ask Bruce at Bellwether. Bruce is not a lawyer. If board members are going to ridicule each other when they present statute, attorney general opinion, constitution, or court case, then the board's legal counsel shouldn't be sending the board to a non-lawyer for an answer to a legal question. Apparently, the state's attorney's office can't add, endorses inaccurate documentation, and refers legal matters to people who aren't lawyers, while board members berate each other for doing the same thing. But that's just stupid stuff. How can the state's attorney's office be trusted to offer good legal advice? How can the board trust that they can cash rent the farm when the same people telling them are letting inaccurate documentation leave their office? How can the board trust that they can outsource payroll when those telling them can't answer a simple budgetary question? How can the board trust that they can approve a health insurance contract renewal when those telling them can't even add? Maybe that's just stupid stuff. I'll reserve the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other?
I'm gonna, Julie Edwards. And I'm gonna say to Nicole, I do want to thank your office, because every time I see that a drug dealer, a sex offender, a domestic abuser, or somebody has been taken off the streets of Shelby County, that's your office that does that. And I appreciate that. If I'm the only one, fine, I appreciate it. But my frustration with what Ms. Garvin said the other night was the fact that, and maybe I'm the only one in this room, but I've been a homeowner in Shelby County since 2002, and I've paid my taxes. I've worked 2-3 jobs to make sure my taxes were paid. And for her to insinuate that the watchdogs, maybe they're brazen, maybe they're a pain, maybe they're harsh, but the one thing is, they're not wrong. And the things that they say, it's not stupid stuff. When I entrust that my tax dollars are going to go to people I elected to take care of that money, and I find out that we have someone in the treasurer's office that manipulates her vacation time, and it costs taxpayer money to pay her for those hours that she did not earn. We have a sheriff who has boogered up their office to the point it may never be fixed. That's my money that I worked for. And it's not stupid stuff to me. This isn't, I don't have a prepared statement. Nobody told me what to say. I'm telling you that I'm angry that my tax dollars are being misused by people we entrusted to do the right thing. And that's predatory behavior. I expect to be taken advantage of by drug dealers and sex offenders. I don't expect that behavior from people I elected to put in offices or that were appointed to take care and look out for my best interests. And that's why I sit in this seat, because I want to make that change. And I hope the other 20 people in these seats want to do that too. And I hope that the bickering and the accusations and all the other stuff that goes on in this room can stop, and we can work together to do the right thing for the people in Shelby County.
Thank you.
I hope I didn't take away the good favor of my prayer.
Any other public body comment?
I just wanted to mention, Jeff, I'm glad you brought up the power line issue. I don't know if you guys have looked into it or not, but Edgar County just adopted a solar farm ordinance. It may well be one of the top ones we've ever looked at, and I don't know if that's something that's being discussed, but there's a lot of things discussed by the supervisor of assessment relating to what potentially could happen to farmers in that process to the point of losing land when they default on taxes. It was a very informative meeting. The video's online, but their ordinance is available. I would encourage you guys to take a look at it, because I think they did a really good job putting that together. That's all I got. Thank you.
You're gonna make me do some math now.
It was a shocker.
No, I mean, how much time you got
I'm
left?
done. Don't worry about it.
Okay, you good?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I appreciate that. My math is a little sometimes
No
off.
problem.
Any other public body comment?
I just want to say, I want to second Julie's comment to Nicole and her department and what they are doing in regards to the drug offenders, the rape and all that kind of crime. It is absolutely and very much appreciated that that stuff is being addressed. So I wanted to second Julie's comment on that part.
I saw one other hand, yes.
My name is Stephanie Prosser, and I was born and raised in Shelby my entire life, and I want to thank each and every one of you people sitting up here, doing your job, representing the taxpayers, and I know sometimes it's got to be hard, but everyone should have the right to vote and not be persecuted or humiliated publicly for how they voted, especially if they voted how their constituents wanted them to vote. And yes, I'm talking about the poor farm. I'm sorry that some of you are being harassed. I find it disgusting. You're being ridiculed in public mailings, postcards, and personal letters asking for your letters of resignation. Just because you voted how you felt you should vote. And to me, that's not the way that I was taught on how people should voice their opinion or vote for what they feel is right, especially if their constituents want that. Teddy Roosevelt once said, "A vote is like a rifle. Its usefulness depends upon the character of the user." I look at the majority of this board, and I do see impeccable character. I just want you all to keep doing what you're doing and vote how you feel, not how somebody tells you to, not because somebody threatens you, not because someone asks you or mails a letter to you requesting you resign because of the way you voted. I do not agree with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public body comment?
Bobby Orman, District 7. Where are we at on the forensic audit report? I think we've been patiently waiting on it for a couple of months. Are we getting close? What are we doing? Where are we at? Anybody know? Next question is, we've heard from the AFSCME. I brought that up back in the special meeting. I think it was in November or December, whenever that was. Is there any progress? Is there any movement? Where are we at with that? I'm done.
We have a meeting. We have a meeting to discuss things next week.
Any other public body comment?
Because I was appointed a contact person to work with the forensic auditor with a lot of the records and a lot of the issues, I was informed by the auditor that he was going to be presenting tonight. He's not presenting. And since you didn't want to answer his question, I'm curious why he's not presenting. We, as has been stated, the taxpayers of this county have paid an incredible amount of money for that audit. It's been 15 months, 16 months. Are we going to get what we paid for?
Any other public body comment? Any other public body comment? Anybody want to comment? I got one hand back there.
My name is Olivia Ross. I would like to remind every board member that all the decisions you make, they don't just affect the adults, they affect us kids. I would like to remind you that and make all the decisions right. Thank you.
Any other public body comment? Any other public body comment? Yes, ma'am.
Marsh White, taxpayer, Shelby County. As always, we've been trying since, I believe, the Edgar County Watchdogs first addressed this group January of 2019. I watched that tape, was appalled, and started attending meetings February of 2019. And folks, could we begin to do right? It takes less time and costs less money if we do it right in the first place. There's been errors on both sides, but let's do legal. Thank you.
Any other public body comment? Any other public body comment? Any other public body comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to number 5. Discussion and vote on appointment of Cassie Cox to fill a vacancy in County Board District Number 10 on recommendation of the Republican Central Committee. Yes.
Make a motion to appoint Cassie Cox to fill the vacancy.
I'll second.
Who was that? Julie, was that you? Okay, thank you. You got a properly made motion, seconded. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
I don't even know who this gal is. Could we at least have her stand and maybe say a little bit about herself? So at least put a name to the face.
Is she here?
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Cassie. I grew up here in Shelbyville, raised here. I run multiple nonprofits throughout the area. I was the director of the Pregnancy Resource Center here in town for 4.5 years, and I currently work in child welfare. I have multiple children in the school system. I'm a foster parent. What else would you like to know?
Just put a name to the face. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? We'll vote here. All those in favor say aye. Aye. You're very good. Do you want to do that, or do you want it as a roll call? Do we want to hear people?
My voice vote's fine.
Roll call then. Yep. Voice or roll call?
Roll call it.
Roll call.
Kitty Bart,
No.
Barbara Bennett,
No.
Mark Bennett,
Yes.
Teresa Bain,
No.
Brian Hoffman,
Yes.
Dennis Durbich,
No.
Jesse Durbin,
Present.
Julie Edwards,
Yes.
Gary Gergany,
Yes.
Ron Hyde,
Yes.
Matt Kessler,
Yes.
Larry Lenz, Sharon Ongman,
Yes.
Robert Worman,
Yes.
Gary Patterson,
No.
Derek Piercy,
Yes.
Robert Simpson,
No.
Jeff Slifer,
No.
Don Tate,
Yes.
Lynn Williams.
No.
Okay, we have a tie with one vote present. The vote is 10 ayes, 10 nays, with 1 present. I counted 9 noes, maybe I missed one. Let me, 27, 1, 2, 3.
wait a second, yeah, that's my problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yep, 9. No, it'd be 9 no's. You got 9 no's too, right, Julie?
Yes.
Yeah, 9 no's. So motion carries.
Motion carries 10-9.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I can't add either.
Would you please come up? Thank you for turning back up. 10-9. One present.
Right, right. I state your name.
I, Cassie Cox,
Having been appointed
having been appointed
to the office of
to the office of
Shelby County Board District 10
Shelby County Board District 10
in the county of Shelby,
in the county of Shelby,
in the state of Illinois,
in the state of Illinois,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of
Shelby
County Board District 10
Shelby County Board District 10
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I just need you to sign this one.
Okay.
Right there. You're welcome to take your seat on the board.
Thank you.
Pick wisely. Choose wisely.
I'm going to be gone.
All right. Congratulations, Cassie.
Thank you.
Heather, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Heather Wade with the probation office. Discussion and vote on replacing the pretrial officer with a fully funded adult juvenile probation officer position.
Yes.
Floor is yours.
Okay.
I'd like to discuss or to explain what we're doing.
All right, so I wrote quite a bit. As you all remember, I was here last year. I came to talk to you. We were losing our pretrial officer position. It was statewide, it was not Shelby County. This is statewide. Pretrial positions are being taken over by the Administrative Office of the Illinois Courts, and these will be state-funded positions. So we were granted the officer was taken away from us. So I came and I talked to you to inform you of what was going on and tell you I might come back at some point and maybe ask for some assistance and trying to get some more help in my office. So a lot happened since then. I went with the chief judge, the circuit judge, which are both my direct supervisors, and I went to the Administrative Office of the Illinois Court, and I submitted a supplement to my annual plan. I didn't know when I submitted it, I was asking for a full-time juvenile and adult probation officer, a third. Shelby County has 2 full-time probation officers, myself and Officer Daters. So I did it. I submitted it. We were approved. So this isn't a replace one person with another person. This is actually restructuring of my office. When I submitted this supplement, I made some changes to the structuring in my office. So we have a public service work pretrial coordinator, public service work drug testing coordinator, who's funded through probation service fees. That's $27,000 annually that comes out of my 030 budget. I proposed that that position be eliminated and I be granted a full-time probation officer. And I went off script, but I just want you to know, as far as Shelby County, we have the 2 funded officers. We're one of the largest counties in Illinois with a population of 20,990 spread out over 759 square miles. In comparison, Fayette County has a population of 21,488. They have 5 probation officers, 5 full-time probation officers. Clay County has a population of 13,000, and they have 3 probation officers. The only county in the 4th Judicial Circuit to have 2 probation officers is Jasper, who has a population of 9,000 individuals. So that was part of the basis for me doing this. But like I said, they approved my request, and now I can do it. So the pretrial position is still there. It will be for a couple more months. We're phase 1. The state will be taking it over, hopefully within the next couple months. So I'm asking for permission to hire a full-time adult juvenile probation officer to give Shelby County 3 full-time probation officers.
And I'll be happy to answer any questions about caseloads, budgeting, whatever you would like to know.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. To second.
I'll second.
Sharon got the second. Any discussion now? Any questions? Any discussion on this? Bobby?
I do have a question. This is a devil's advocate question. Do we need to, is there any appropriation changes we need to make? I mean, this is personnel, so I mean, we're.
Absolutely not, and that's why I have all the information. So
Right.
we're currently funding the pretrial position. My anticipation would be, if approved, I will post the position, hire somebody off the eligibility list from the administrative office. At that point, the pretrial position will be leaving. The county pays the fringe benefits for everyone in my office. So if you ask me the fringe benefits, for the current pretrial officer, it's $16,000. If you ask for my fringe benefits, it's only $8,000. I don't take county insurance. It depends on the person employed. So you're already taking care of that expense. I would not need to amend my budget in any way. Of course, that's not my budget. It's the 029, I think, the general county fund budget. But it will not cause an amendment to my budget. It will not increase any spending by the county whatsoever. I'm simply losing one. I'm still losing an employee with the restructuring. I'm going to be down a person, so her duties get shifted on the 3 officers equally. So, but as far as appropriations, none whatsoever, if done correctly.
Any other discussion or questions for Heather?
It's a money issue. Do we roll call?
I don't think it's money, but we can roll call if we...
It will, it would be money because the position leaving. It's fully funded, which just means, I believe the treasurer submits something to the
We
state.
can roll call it, I don't care.
Every week, and I
Roll call it. Is everybody prepared for a vote here? Are we done discussion? Okay.
Kenny Barr.
Yeah.
Robert Bennett.
She said I have to abstain.
Okay. Mark Bennett.
Yes.
Teresa Bain.
Yes.
Brian Kaufman.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Dennis Turbich.
Yes.
Jesse Durbin.
Yes.
Julie Edwards.
Yes.
Gary Gergany.
Yes.
Rod Height.
Yes.
Matt Kessler.
Yes.
Larry Lenz. Sharon Ogman.
Yes.
Robert Orman.
Yes.
Gary Patterson.
Yes.
Derek Percy.
Yes.
Robert Simpson.
Yes.
Jeff Slifer.
Yes.
Don Tate.
Yes.
Lynn Williams.
Yes.
Cassie Cox.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously, 19 ayes. Thank you. And if anyone has questions, please feel free. We are our own separate little corner downstairs, but we are happy to share. Your chairman has been helpful with me when I started this, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions as long as it doesn't violate any of the client's rights. So you're free to come ask anything you want at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. All right, Beth. Beck Martz with the CEFS Transportation.
Hello. I'm just here to ask again that Shelby County pass an ordinance to provide public transportation for Shelby County and on behalf of Montgomery, Christian, Moultrie, Clay, and Fayette as well. We've been appropriated the same amount of 5311 funding and downstate operating assistance funding as we were last year. And the ordinance would just allow me to complete that application and submit that to the county to keep our services going. I also have the intergovernmental agreements with the other counties, the purchase of service agreement with CEFS to provide that service, vehicle lease agreement, and a memorandum of understanding to basically share service vehicles with Effingham County as needed and vice versa.
We probably need several motions here, correct? Or did we do it all at once? I think we probably need to go one by one is what I think. So, do I have a motion to approve the resolution that they get their funding from the 5311 and the DOAP? Or second. Any discussion? Any questions?
It's strictly a pass-through, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's not costing the county any money at all. Any other discussion? Are we technically spending money here? Yes, we are.
Roll call it.
Yeah, let's roll call it. Sorry.
Kitty Barr.
Yes.
Barbara Bennett. Yes. Mark Bennett.
Yes.
Teresa Bain.
Yes.
Brian Kaufman.
Yes.
Dennis Sturdivich.
Yes.
Jesse Durbin.
Yes.
Julie Edwards.
Yes.
Gary Gergany.
Yes.
Rod Height.
Yes.
Matt Kessler.
Yes.
Sharon Ogman.
Yes.
Bobby Orman.
Yes.
Gary Patterson.
Yes.
Gary Kersey.
Yes.
Robert Simpson.
Yes.
Jeff Slifer.
Yeah.
Don Tate.
Yes.
Lynn Williams.
Yes.
Cassie Cox.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously, 20 ayes.
Do I have a motion to accept the intergovernmental agreements with Moultrie Christian, Montgomery, Clay, and Fayette counties?
So move.
Don, a second? And they don't get it. Any discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The purchase of service agreement between Shelby County and CDFS. Do I have a motion for that one? Sharon? Barb? Seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the vehicle lease agreement between Shelby County and Effingham County. Is there any monetary stuff on that agreement?
Don't believe so. It's a service agreement or the vehicle lease? I don't believe there is.
Okay, we've got this one here, okay.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
don't think so.
I got the ordinance, I missed the top one, sorry. Pardon, Beth?
No, there isn't.
Okay, so we can do a roll call on this one. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And I missed the very top one, the approval. The second one. The resolution authorizing the board chair to apply. I thought that was when we did the,
No, you did the dope
I didn't.
ordinance.
I skipped the top one, the approval of the
Okay.
publication of the ordinance.
Okay.
And went straight to the resolution. That's when we voted because we're
Okay.
spending money.
All right.
So I skipped the first one. I thought it was all the same. I'm sorry. So we need approval of the 5311/DOAP publication transportation ordinance. We need a second. Yeah. Any discussion? I didn't see that part of it up there. I thought it was all together with the monetary resolution. That's why we had to go back. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Barb. I think we got it all.
All right.
All right, thank you for your time.
Here's all the paperwork, Nancy.
Thank you very much.
Just let me know when it's done.
Will do. Thank you.
Erica?
I would like to ask the board to approve the transfer of parcel 2409-3610-11102 from the county trustee to the purchasers, Kenneth and Laura Owens, for $818.
Do I have a motion? Barb? A second? Bobby? Any discussion? Just simple tax buy, wasn't it?
It'll go back on the tax rolls.
Yeah. Roll call. Do we need a roll call on this? No, it's not. We're not spending money. We're actually collecting money. That's better. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Mr. Steve DeWitt for his first county highway engineer report.
Where would you like me to stand at?
Wherever you wish, sir. Watch where that microphone is.
There's a gate there. I understand I'm a new face here. I'm a new county engineer. I started here March 1st. First off, I'd like to express my gratitude for selecting me to occupy the position of Shelby County Engineer. Tonight I have one resolution to submit to the board for approval. As you're aware, due to Alan's retirement, it left the county without a program management or manager for the MBIS program. This left us without the ability to perform the required bridge inspections in the county. On February 10th, which was the last meeting, the county approved an engineering agreement with HLR to do our bridge inspections and keep the county in compliance. Tonight, I submit the resolution to allow for the agreement to be paid out of the county MFT fund. The agreement is for $85,000 even.
Do I have a motion? Jeff, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any questions? Roll call.
Kenny Barr.
Yes.
Barbara Bennett.
Yes.
Mark Bennett.
Yes.
Teresa Bain.
Yes.
Brian Kaufman.
Yes.
Dennis Sturdivich.
Yes.
Jesse Durbin.
Yes.
Julie Edwards.
Yes.
Gary Gergany.
Yes.
Rod Height.
Yes.
Matt Kessler.
Yes.
Sharon Ongman.
Yes.
Robert Orman.
Yes.
Gary Patterson.
Yes.
Derek Piercy.
Yes.
Robert Simpson.
Yes.
Jeff Slifer.
Yes.
Don Tate.
Yes.
Lynn Williams.
Yes.
Cassie Cox.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously, 20 ayes.
A little bit of update here, HLR, which we just voted on. They've approximately got 90% of the bridges done, 130 out of 142 required bridge inspections for the year done already. Update on projects, IDOT letting, March 11th, tomorrow. We have a couple big projects on it. The phase 1 of Country Club Road, I know you guys have heard of it. This has been in the running for a while. These are both grant projects and the Westervelt Bridge projects, so hopefully we get some good bids tomorrow and keep these projects going. They're pretty large projects. So.
I got a question. On your
Yes.
bridge inspections, I
Yes.
know they're going through the inspections,
Yes.
but are you or is there any problems because of the rain, the snow, you know, the environment?
Nothing's been reported to me like that so far.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. We got a discussion and vote on the lost revenue standard allowance ordinance for ARPA funds. We be able to take the ARPA funds in. We need an ordinance. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion. I got Teresa and Don. Any discussion?
And just for clarification, this is the process of us taking the actual fund and putting it into the general fund.
I believe so.
You have to opt if you want it
One-
in
one
one
lump
lump
sum.
sum or not, and since we're getting $10 million,
Less than $10 million.
less than $10 million, Bruce from Bellwether said that that was what was designed for counties that are taking in less than $10 million. If you take it in one lump sum, there's not the administrative fees that go along with taking it in different payments, and it's less bookkeeping too.
Any other discussion? We'll do a roll call.
Kenny Barr.
Yes.
Barbara Bennett.
Yes.
Mark Bennett.
Yes.
Teresa Bain.
Yes.
Brian Kaufman.
Yes.
Dennis Sturdivich.
Yes.
Jesse Durbin.
Yes.
Julie Edwards.
Yes.
Gary Gergany.
Yes.
Rod Height.
Yes.
Matt Kessler.
Yes.
Sharon Ongman.
Yes.
Bobby Orman.
Yep.
Gary Patterson.
Yes.
Derek Piercy.
Yes.
Robert Simpson.
Yes.
Jeff Slifer.
Yes.
Don Tate.
Yes.
Lynn Williams.
Yes.
Cassie Cox.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously, 20 ayes.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I know I possibly could be out of order.
Yes, you might be.
I think the clerk may have missed that one of the board members left.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
19 and-
We're good.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I keep saying, yeah, he's gone, yeah.
Gotcha.
Just for clarity, I apologize.
But,
Thank
no, because it would have been 21. So no, I was
you.
right.
Mr. Switz has not been here all night.
So we have a
Right,
new
but
board member.
We have 22 though. We have 22 board members.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Nicole?
He came and he left at the same time.
Item number 11 is a resolution to adopt a commuting policy. It's right out of the IRS directives, and we're supposed to have a policy on that.
We got a motion to approve the county commuting policy.
I have a comment.
We need a motion before comments,
Make the
please.
motion.
Second.
Okay, now you can make your comment, Sharon, sorry.
That's okay. I read the resolution on what they want to do, but I also read the rules from the IRS, and I think it's good that the employee is signing, that they know that that car is for county use only, but I think they also need to know how it is being billed. I think we need to put in there what the IRS says as far as the $1.50 per trip to have it for the employees so they know that it is part of their income.
Any discussion?
I'd make a motion to table this until we have that portion defined in this resolution, because it would be prudent among us as the board to have a definition on how the income is to be handled and taxed. And it is right in here that it needs to be defined in the resolution. And that is IRS Section 15B, Vehicle Fringe Benefit, for anybody that wants to look it up.
So we got a motion, do we have a second to the motion to table?
I do.
Don, any discussion on the tabling of the motion?
Do I have to agree to it?
I have a question though.
Yes.
Is this different than the person that had the job before was treated? The last county engineer, did we have this for them?
There wasn't anything in there, was
I
there?
don't think we had a resolution at all, or any policy. That
Was he provided a car?
he was for a while, and then he did not take it after a while.
He used it, the county never reported to the IRS. Actually, we've been in violation of IRS code because we haven't, which is why I've asked for this policy, because Mr. DeWitt wants it reported appropriately so that we stay in good graces with the IRS. That's
Exactly.
why this is going on right now.
Exactly.
And we do have other vehicles. We do have potentially other vehicles. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so I misspoke. We do have other vehicles that could
EMA is
go home
one
and need to
that I
be
know of.
fined. So we need to have a countywide policy that all be handled the same as far as how to be reported, how to be taxed, and how to be handled. So that needs to be included on this resolution. So that's why I made a motion table until we get the language cleared up.
Gary, just for clarification, is that $1.50 a trip? Is that good for how long? Is that to be changed every year, or?
I would guess whenever the IRS changes their guidance, I don't know how long.
But there's no end date to it currently?
No, it's $1.50 per commute.
So here's the commuting rule. Page 26, publication 15B of the IRS code. Under this rule, you determine the value of the vehicle you provide an employee for commuting use by multiplying each one-way commute, that is, from home to work, or work to home, by $1.50. If more than one employee commutes in the vehicle, this value applies to each employee. This amount must be included in the employee's wages or reimbursed by the employee. My suggestion is, right here where it says the amount must be included in the employee's wages or reimbursed by the employee, I picked we go for the previous saying that it be included in the employee's wages. Reimbursed by the employee makes.
Could we say package? Didn't we give them a package?
This is part of it, I guess. But this is the rules by which we create the package with. His employment contract.
Right, but if you say package, wouldn't that cover it?
It's an ordinance. It's an ordinance for the county employees that use a vehicle to go to and from home, which I do believe law enforcement officers have an exemption of sorts. So they're in a separate. Where's that?
I think the reason we would not want to order this package is because this is supposed to be a general across the board. So it doesn't have to be for just one individual job.
we gonna be getting, I know they got an exemption, but are we gonna be looking at the sheriff's department? Will that be coming up?
They're exempt.
They're exempt.
They're exempt,
They're
but, I mean, you know, if you're going,
They're exempt.
They come on duty at their house. They leave duty when they get home.
They're exempt. This is just for the ones that aren't sheriff's employees. Derek?
What was the number, or where do I find what you were reading there?
I can make it to you there.
It's IRS code 15B.
Got it.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I got it back. Knowledge is wonderful.
Gary, is there anything that keeps us from amending it and adding that one item and passing it? That's the only thing we're saying is missing is the $1.50 per trip, correct? Per review?
Well, we can retrace steps and go through this again, but why don't we just get all the language in there we need it and approve it once?
Is anything other than that's needed is what I'm asking.
That's kind of the important part, though, is the definition of, the county establishes the definition of how it's to be handled through wages or reimbursement. That's crucial language in this.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's
we could pass this and exclude the $1.50.
Oh, no, I want it in there, but I just wondered, it sounded.
But, I mean,
one
we could
line.
come back to the $1.50, right?
Sounds like.
Brian?
Sounds like
It's got me lost, man, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going with that.
We passed the resolution, but what
You have to
Bobby
come back-
said was
You have to come back and revisit it to put that, add that into the resolution.
just to add that
Right.
piece into it.
Right. So, if that's what's wanted in there and needed in there to be correct, then why pass it and then have to come back and reopen it and revisit it? That's
So-
my personal opinion. I mean, that's redundant, that's extra time. You know, if that's what needs to be, if that's what everybody agrees to be, then no.
I think the difficulty with the ordinance as it's presented, or the adoption of the policy, is that we need to state that the $1.50 per trip is considered wages and not something that the employee would be reimbursed for.
Would be taxed on that.
Yes, and that will be taxed on that amount of money. And in fact, not that it's a big deal, but in fact, the county is actually paying is paying 7.65% on top of the $1.50. Or not paying, but costing the county 7.65% because of our half of the Social Security and Medicare tax that we'll have to pay. Because if $1.50 per trip or $3 round trip is part of his wages, he's got to pay 7.65% of that taxes out of his pocket, and the county has to match that. So I mean, that's why I think we need to get this right.
What about, how's it, like, if he comes on a job in the morning at 8 o'clock, but he has to go to a project?
That's during his job, then, so it's not considered it's not fringe benefit that he's using it for the job. So it's just when he comes to work and goes to work. Eric, I'll let you talk since this directly affects your treasurer.
The other thing I'm asking, and Steve and I have talked, I don't know if he's still here, he is going to document on every timesheet each day.
Yes, he is.
I think that for moving forward with other vehicles, we need the same policy countywide for every vehicle. If we do it simply through payroll, we've already set it up in the system for the whole tax. Some taxes qualify, some don't. It doesn't go toward IMRF. You know, the new software system is very clear about it. We have it set up. And so if it's for whatever employees ever in the future now use that, we take care of it every 2 weeks. We're good with the IRS. We're good with the employees. The employees are good with the IRS. And so I'm asking for clarification as to how that will be tracked. If it's open-ended, you know, our our employees gonna report it once a month, biannually, where if it's strictly goes through payroll every 2 weeks, and there's some very specific language, then that documentation can be tracked, and easily reported to the IRS, so that we don't get ourselves in any kind of trouble. That's why I would ask for it to be very specific.
So we got a motion on the floor to table that was properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of tabling this until next month, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Table.
Would you suggest this goes to a committee? Would you have a committee review it? That way there's another, at least open meeting where the members of the board could go voice opinion on the details of that section of language.
I can try to find one to put it in.
What do you think?
It sounds like all it is just adding a couple, like an extra sentence or so to the previous one, and that should take care of it. But, I can send it to, if you want me to, I can send it to something. I don't know.
It'll just cost the committee. It'll cost to have a committee meet for it, so.
Well, if it was a legislative committee that was already meeting for something, just put it on the agenda. It just costs. Anyway.
I'll think about it. How's that?
Very good.
Brian?
Yes, Mark?
I'm going to suggest that if you do have a meeting of some sort, it sounds like maybe Erica knows kind of what things need to be covered.
Yeah.
Whether invite her to make sure that those bases are covered, we don't have a difference.
Okay. Do we have any chairman committee reports?
Yes. We had a fatality on Route 128. A lot of you probably seen that in the press that they opened it up. But I want to thank the rescue squad, the EMA. There's a lot of people that showed up for there. I was on the bridge, and I was there an hour when I seen the helicopter drop in, and then it stopped running, which I knew there was something traumatic going on. But there was a lot of people in there that, really stepped up to the plate. And I just want to say thank you to them publicly, because without those folks, I don't know what we would do. So that's the ambulance, airbag, Shelbyville Rescue Squad, fire departments. I just want to be recognized for that, for them to be recognized for that.
Gary? We've got a couple of committee updates. The first one will be law enforcement, and as you probably all saw in the minutes, it's pretty well the detention center is running 28 to 32 people every night, and there's anywhere from 3 to 5 usually waiting to transfer to the Department of Corrections, and they are paying a per day fee on the ones that have been convicted and not moved yet, and they're being billed, and the current bill is up to $66,000 with the state, which we have not received anything yet, but they assure us we will receive it at some point. But basically, we've got a lot of cases. Our team here, our judges, our deputies, our state's attorneys, they are having cases every week, and people are either released or sentenced, and the same speed people are going out, people are coming in, and this has been going on for several months. So all those departments I just mentioned are doing a really good job, and they basically were behind by probably a year and a half. And if you've all been watching the news, you've seen a lot of very serious cases come in and out. In the bank accounts, we've seen some real serious bails come in and out, and I'd like to thank all of them for what they're doing, and they're all under a lot of pressure and doing a lot of work right now. And you will have seen that in a minute, but I want the public to know that also. And then the next one I'm going to report on is I'm on the group that runs the job centers in 6 counties, which that's me and Kenny and Gary are on that committee. And basically during the COVID shutdown, those had to be completely, basically redone in their operations. And in the last 6 months, we're in the WCDC, which centers in Carlinville, and we're the Far East County. But during that period, they have hired a new executive director, which just started March the 1st. They've hired a new accountant, which he is starting sometime the next week. And he's replacing someone who had retired, and they came back and have worked for the last year until they could get someone hired because the person that replaced them left. They've hired a new program director who had been the assistant in reorganization and has moved into the program opening. And a few people have retired. They're career specialists, but basically that whole system over the last 6 months has been redesigned. Our office here in town has 2.5 times as many cases open now as they had before this started. So it is definitely picking up the business. I wouldn't be surprised to see us generate 10 times the business by the time they go through their first year in this reorganization and basically getting things open again, because they suffered heavily when the doors were locked and everything had to be done online. But it's the county's involved in that. I think we all, if you've ever used them, they're a very good asset, and they've placed a lot of people, put people in school. I mean, it's an option that I think people have probably forgot about in the last 2 years, so they're having to start in promoting their business, signing up clients. But we've had, instead of having 1 meeting a quarter, they've been having 3 or 4 meetings a month for the last 6 months. So that's up and going, and watch, because you're going to see advertisements several places about the job center and what they offer. And that is on 128 North, basically across from the new lumber yard. And when you see that, that's what it is. Stop in, visit with Tracy, and if you got questions, if you're an employer and you have people that need help, she can tell you what help's available. But it's a very good asset that has been kind of silent for a couple of years, and it's up and going again. And we look forward to, like I said, it growing tenfold. So we need to get that going, and I know we all need employees and we all need people trained.
Brian, I'd like to add one. It's one of the best kept secrets in the county. I don't understand that. If you know somebody that's looking for work, young people, old people, a full range of job opportunities can come through there. They don't always have all the jobs they'd like to have. But please encourage people to go out and ask for assistance. There's everything from depending on your incomes, they can help pay your salary. They encourage an employer to hire. There's a lot of youth programs. It really needs to be used. Kenny and I have been battling for years to keep it here, because several times it's come real close to being pulled out, shut down here. And we need to use it, and we need people to be aware of it.
Don't they help you build resumes too?
They'll help you with resumes. They've got lots of programs they'll work with you. And but you hit on a good one, the resume. You could have written a resume a year ago, and it won't meet the requirements today, because depending on the level of job you're after, those rules change. You've got to have the right approach.
Any other reports? Yes, Don?
As public body, or public buildings person, I want to inform everybody, unless things change, on March 21, that's Monday, week from Monday, the elevator will be down for probably 2 weeks, they say, because the repair is going to be completed by Crony. Also, when we talked and had problems trying to do replacement windows with the grant, the people from the Historic Society sent a list of people that can do historic repairs. I've contacted one of those, the only one that seems to at least fit my qualifications of how the job might be done. And we're going to try to meet with him sometime yet this month to discuss what he might propose to do with the windows. And then also by passing this lost revenue standards ordinance earlier tonight, I've been informed by Gary that money from ARPA can be used to put in replacement windows. Coles County is doing that with their courthouse now from their funds. So maybe we can get most, if not all, of these windows sealed up and improve our operation of our heating and ventilation system.
Gary? The member of the Coles County Board I was in a meeting with a couple times here in the last week or so, and they have a 3-ring binder from Bellwether that there was a ton of information in there on the ARPA money, how it could be spent. I looked through it. They had divided out the amount of money they're getting and what categories of spending they was going to do. I don't know whether we got any of that information presented to us or not. I have not seen but very little of the information she was showing me in their handbook that they put out to the board members. And they have, of course, a committee, an ARPA committee that they're very involved in it. They got more money to spend, but it'd be nice to look at some of that money that could be put into something that's going to pay returns to us by just controlling some of the heat and air conditioning expense. We put the system in, we planned that with new replacement windows, and we've done a lot of damage to our system because we have not carried through with that basic plan. And we really need to get something done one way or the other.
Any other committee reports?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I asked in public body comment, and rightfully so, it's not obligatory of the board or members to answer questions, but I still want to know, when will the payroll audit be presented? Is there any plans to have it presented? Is there plans for a special
What
meeting?
committee is this on, that you're on?
I'm a member of the board, and
I understand that.
I have a question.
I understand that, we're not just that yet. So, Chairman updates. We are working to get it scheduled for 2 weeks from now, or roughly, in a special board meeting. Does that answer the question?
Good.
Okay, thank you.
9 a.m. or 7 p.m.?
I don't know, maybe it'll be midnight.
Can I ask that it be held at 7 p.m.?
My goal is to have it held in the evening.
Thank
Maybe
you.
not 7 p.m., but maybe a little earlier. But
That's fine.
in the
Thank you.
evening, that is my request.
Thank you.
I have no chairman appointments, I have no other correspondence. Seeing anything else, somebody like to approve the claims? Make a motion to approve the claims? Mark?
Second.
Don? All those in favor say aye.
Roll call.
Yeah, that's what you're right.
Question
Yep.
first.
We got a question.
Did the mistaken invoice from Bellwether get pulled?
I emailed the voided check to the whole board, yes.
Okay. So that will not be paid.
Nope, the check's been voided.
Okay.
Make a decision?
We found that it was an inappropriate ordinance. Contract says that the unbeknownst to the committee, when we approved payment of it, we've since learned that the contract calls for the second payment of the funds to them be paid after we receive the second payment from government.
What was that discussed?
What do you mean?
purchasing
We
committee
knew,
meeting.
did not know anything about it, the purchasing committee meeting, that's why we approved the bill at that point in time.
I know, but I'm just saying, you said we, so I'm assuming you all kind of meant.
All right.
It's been brought to my attention, and I talked with the,
Let's move on.
with the committee chairman.
Okay.
Approval, we got a motion, we got a second.
I do have one question.
Yes.
Will the comments and the changes be in the minutes? That this was brought up, that that payment was withheld because there was a mistake on the billing, and will all that be in the minutes?
I assume
What
it
was
was.
just discussed here? Because I think it should be. Because the committee approved the 10,000, then the 10,000 was pulled, and without being in the minutes, how does anybody know what happened if it's not in the minutes?
The email has been sent out to all of us.
To us only, but it's not in the minutes, which is public.
He's right.
That email's not.
Email's public. Email's public.
So,
It's going to be sent out to the whole Shelby County, the minutes?
easy.
I'll make a motion that we remove.
Go ahead, I'll listen to it, but I think
Okay.
we've already got a motion on the floor.
Go ahead.
So, go ahead and make your motion, I'll see if it, how it works.
I want to make a motion that we amend the claims
To exclude.
To
to remove the payment to Bellwether for $10,000.
I'll second that.
Okay. So the original motion was just to approve all the claims. Now we've got amendment to repeat that again, don't we, Mark?
To remove the payment to Bellwether for $10,000.
And it's seconded by Don. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor, say aye. On the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So now we have a new, the main motion now is to approve the payment of the claims minus the bill from Bellwether.
Kenny Barr,
Yes.
Barbara Bennett,
Yes.
Mark Bennett,
Yes.
Teresa Bain,
Yes.
Brian Kaufman,
Yes.
Dennis Sturdivich,
Yes.
Jesse Durbin,
Yes.
Julie Edwards,
Yes.
Mark Bennett, or Gary Gergany,
Yes.
Rod Height,
Yes.
Matt Kessler,
Yes.
Sharon Ongman,
Yes.
Bobby Gorman,
Yes.
Gary Patterson,
Yes.
Gary Piercy, Robert Simpson,
Yes.
Jeff Slifer,
Present.
Don Tate,
Yes.
Lynn Williams,
Yes.
Cassie Cox.
Yes.
Motion passed, 19 yes, 1 voting present, Jeff Slifer.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Bobby, second.